Alrighty, so questions on 6.1? None? We're all good? It was easy. Perfect. Alrighty, so from there, we are going to go on to section 6.2, which I don't know. Hopefully it's just as easy. Alrighty, so it is 14th, right? 12-14?
I do have a question. It's not like on the exam, but just in general.
Yeah.
If it asks for x-intercepts, but it never went through the x.
Then none.
Okay.
Yep. Alrighty, now this is S. Hey, about you still talking? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. I noticed how. Did you get the license plate of that truck he just threw you under? Hey, facts is facts, man. Alright, so our objective is going to be able to properly graph and extract better and extract data from any given quadratic equation. All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to go a little different direction here, and I'm actually going to teach you something new. Okay. Now, whenever you're given a quadratic equation, doesn't matter what it is. So if I gave you y equals, x squared plus 7, no, not 7x. Let's go x squared plus 8x minus 4. And I simply said I wanted you to graph and, graph and find data. When I'm talking data, I'm talking like vertex and intercepts and all that stuff, right? Now, what are 2 ways that you know to do this so far?
Graphing.
Not on a graphing calculator. I'll tell you 2 separate ways. I tell you how to factor, right? You can factor and do all that stuff, right? Factoring helps me find the what?
Zeros.
The zeros, right? But the zeros are my x-intercepts, right? This helps me find my, what else does this help me find? My y-intercept, right? Once I have my x-intercepts, what do I have to do? I found their axis of symmetry, right? And then what did I do with that axis of symmetry? But how did I do that? No, I substituted it back in, right? And that gave me my y, yada, yada, yada. And that's one way, okay? What's the other way? Yeah, the negative b over 2a way, right? Okay? Now, there are 2 ways. Now, the third way is what we are going to refer to as complete the square. Now, complete the square is kind of dependent. If it's a problem like this, it's pretty easy. If it's a different kind of problem, it can be very, very challenging. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do this and determine whether or not it's even a good option. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you like 5 steps here. I think it's 5. And if you follow those 5 steps every time, you're going to be successful. Now, before that, I'm going to teach you how to determine whether or not this is even a good option. The first thing you want to look for is you want to have AB1. Okay? AB1. If A is not 1, this is not a good candidate to what? To complete the square. It's not. You still can do it. It just makes it way more difficult. Okay? I want A to be 1 and I want B to be even. Okay? If these 2 things or there, then this becomes a good complete the square candidate. If they are not, don't do it. Just don't do it because it sucks. Okay, now, this is what you're going to do. First thing you're going to do is you're going to move C. Now, what happens is this, is you're going to rewrite this and have it look like this. You're going to pretend that that y equals doesn't exist. And you're going to make this equal 0, like that. Okay? Now, when I say move C, I'm simply going to take it, I'm going to add my 4 to both sides. Okay? Then I'm going to go x squared plus 8x equals 4. Now, once I move C, okay, I rewrite and leave a space. Now, why do you think I left a space right there? Yeah, I'm going to put something in there. Okay? Now, step 2 is going to be to take my b, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. And then I'm going to add to both sides. So, my b in this case is what? 8. I'm going to take 8 divided by 2, and I'm going to square it, and that's going to give me what? 16, right? Now, it tells me to take that 16 and to add it to both sides. So I'm going to go add 16, and I'm going to go add 16. Okay? Third thing is to simplify and factor. Okay? Now, simplify part is this. This right here is just what? 20. Now, that's the simplify part. Now the factor part. Pay attention. Because this always works this way. Always. This now will always become something that is squared. Okay? That's why they call it completing the square. I am forcing this equation to become something squared. Now it's easy. That variable goes right there. That variable goes right there. That sign goes right there. So that's a plus. This right here is b over 2. Okay? So I'm going to get x plus what? 4 squared equals 20. Okay? Now, step 4 is to put c back. Okay? So how am I going to put my c back? Yeah, I'm going to go minus 20, and I'm going to go minus 20, and I'm going to get y equals x plus 4 squared minus 20.
What happened to the 8x?
Well, when I factored this right here, this turns into that. Because if I FOILed that back out, wouldn't I get that? Okay? Now, who can tell me what that looks like? Oh, yeah.
Would it be like 4 to the left and then 20 down?
Okay, but we still haven't answered my question.
It looks like we did that, a parabola.
It had a name. No.
No. Vertex form?
Oh, what was that again, Mindra?
Vertex form?
Oh, that thing I said last time. Yeah, this is called vertex form. Which is nice because it gives you the vertex. Probably, Freestone, probably why they call it what?
That's probably why they call it the vertex form.
It's amazing how that works.
It is.
Right? So, now as Paisley pointed out, that means I'm going to go where? I'm going to go left 4 and down 20. So I'm going to be way down here. I'm going to go negative 4 comma 20. Now I label my parabola where? Below it. Why did I label it below it? Because my parabola is going up. How do I know it's going up? Because there's a positive number right out here, right?
It would be
Who's that? I see a negative 20. Now, what else can I put on this graph?
I mean, you could put the y-intercept.
Well, yeah, because if I go back to my regular equation, I have my y-intercept at negative 4, don't I? Right? So the mirror image of that over here. Kind of like that, right? And now I have...
And then it's just normal, right?
And then it would be normal. Why is it just normal, Daylabout?
So it's equal to 1.
Because my A is 1 out front here, right? Now,
So how, like, I don't know, does it always get wider, or does it, like...
it's always going to get wider. I mean, it looks like it kind of straightens out, but no matter what, it's always going to continually get bigger and wider, no matter what. I'm not an artist. What?
It seems like a lot of work when you could just do the other two ones which would be faster.
I'm not sure that's always the case. Yeah. Sometimes these problems get really, really, really ugly. Now, what you are going to see, and this goes back to what somebody over here I thought said. Okay, if I go back to this, if I look at this right here, what does that kind of harken back to? And somebody said this. I'm going to be honest, I was shocked.
Straight up solve.
Yeah, this is just like a straight up solve now problem, right? Now, the reason you got to understand this is that all this is this is another tool. Okay? Because I could stop right there and I could solve this, right? Now, what if I did that? What would it give me? But do you know what it would give me? What part of this parabola it would give me if I stopped right there and just solved this?
Your x-intercepts.
It'd give me my x-intercepts. Because that's one thing vertex form doesn't do, is it doesn't give you your x-intercepts. But this gives me a way to find it. Now, when you look at this, and I go back here, okay, I would look at this problem right here and I would say, okay, they want me to graph it, and they want me to find the data, which means they want me to find my vertex. They want me to find my y-intercept. And they want me to find my domain and range and my end behavior and all those things we found, right? There are going to be some issues here. So first off, let's say I wanted to factor this. Well, what would you learn really fast? Anybody know? Yeah, that problem doesn't factor. So that one's out of the door, right? Now, could I negative b over 2a this?
Yes.
Yeah, I can negative b over 2a that. Okay, but what you realize is that you doing it by negative b over 2a, by the time you found everything, I don't know is any slower than doing this, or any faster than doing this. Do you know what I'm saying? So it just kind of depends. Now, if this equation was written differently, now maybe completing the square is not an option. You still can, but it gets really ugly. In fact, let's do that. I got time. So let's say I gave you y equals 3x squared plus 6x minus 4. Okay? And I only want you to solve by completing the square. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend that doesn't exist, and I'm going to write equals 0. Now, you got to pay attention because this is way, I shouldn't say way, but it is significantly more difficult. Okay? So I'm going to add my 4, I'm going to add my 4, right? So that's going to give me 3x squared plus 6x equals 4. Now, this is where this problem changes. And this is why I do not recommend that you do completing the square when you have an a out here. Right here, you have to factor that a out. So I'm going to factor that 3 out, and what's that going to leave me with?
X plus 6 squared. X squared plus 6x root 2 plus 2x.
Plus 2x, right? Because now I got to take it out of both of them. Now, I'm still going to do my b divided by 2 and square it. So what's going to go in right here? Plus 4? Plus, I don't know, I'm asking.
So is it 2 divided by 2? 1, yeah.
So I'm going to take my 2, I'm going to divide it by 2, and I'm going to square it. Well, that's going to give me 1 squared, which is 1, right? So I'm going to go plus 1, right? Now, typically, I would do what with that plus 1? I would add it to the other side, right? But I'm not going to in this step. Does anybody know why? It is. I'm really not adding 1 here. Does anybody know what I'm really adding? What? Why? Yeah, because that 3 is timesing that 1, isn't it? So instead of adding 1 on this side, I'm really going to add 3. Okay? Now, this now right here factors into what?
3x. Oh.
3 parentheses. What will this give me? That part doesn't change. It's always going to give me something what? Something squared, right? Well, what is that going to be? I told you how to factor this. It's that variable, right? And then it's that sign, and then it's b divided by 2, which is 1 squared, right? And that's going to equal 7. Then what do I do? Now, if I was solving this, I would have divided by 3. But remember, we're turning this into, well, I guess I didn't say that. But yeah, we're going vertex form here. Okay? And that's going to give me y equals 3, parentheses, x plus 1 squared minus 7.
That's exactly what it is.
And well, that's what it is. Now, if I were to go back to here, and this problem asked me to find my zeros, that's when I would have went divided by 3, done the whole, you know what I'm saying? Gotten my x, this one sucks for this. Right? Why does this one suck? Yeah, because this doesn't divide. So I'm going to square root, right? Square root. I'm going to get x plus 1 equals. You may know what I'm going to get over here. What? I'd be squaring it. I'm square rooting it. We're all missing something. Yeah, plus or minus the square root of 7/3, right? Well, what's wrong with this?
It'd be hard to graph back.
Well, it would be.
Yeah, square root of 3.
Well, I can if I wanted a decimal, but there's something wrong with that. Isn't that really plus or minus the square root of 7 over the square root of 3? Can't have square root in the denominator, right? Because then I'd have to do what?
Practice. You get it. So
No, I'd have to do something. Anybody remember what we called what I got to do? It starts with an R. Yeah, rationalize the denominator. Good job. So I'm going to go square root of 3 and square root of 3, and that's going to give me x plus 1 equals plus or minus the square root of 21 over 3, right? And I'd minus 1, I'd get x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 21 over 3, which for x-intercepts is butt ugly. I mean, right? If I wanted to find them, I'd have to go and turn them into decimals and do the math, right? Okay. Well, so that's what I'm saying. It just depends on what it asks you to do. Now, this would be easy to graph. Where am I going to go?
one left.
I go left 1, down 7, right? Negative 1, negative 7. I'm going to go up how now? I'm going up. Skinny. Why is it skinny? Yeah, it's bigger than 1, right? What else can I put on this graph, though, to help me figure it out?
The y-intercept.
Yeah, my y-intercept was negative 4, wasn't it? So I would do something like that, mirror image it, do a nice gentle curve there, and a nice gentle curve there, and I'm going to write skinny on this sucker. Now, if I wanted those intercepts, I would have to go and do this, because that's going to give me negative 1 plus the square root of 21 over 3, right? And negative 1 minus the square root of 21 over 3, isn't it? Which is going to give me two ugly decimals. So let's see, I'm going to go negative 1 minus parentheses the square root of 21. Divide 3, enter. I got this is negative 2.53 and negative 1 plus the square root of 21. Right arrow divide 3. And I got 0.53. So that'd be 0.53 and 0. And this would be negative 2.53 and 0. I probably would have been okay with negative 1 plus the square root of 21 over 3 and negative 1 minus the square root of 21 over 3 and 0. I really wouldn't care. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of depends. You know.
So for that one, the best one would have been negative b over 2a.
And again, that's what I'm saying. That's like half the battle. It's like on the test, I'm probably going to give you one that says you must solve this way. Did you just like roll your eyes and throw your head back at me? Because
I like the negative b.
that's kind of what I saw there. I'm just saying. Okay, and then the next one. What'd you say, Bruce? What do you mean you don't know?
Sounded like you said
I was saying something to Luke, but then you said something and then I lost my train of thought.
Well, what was Luke saying?
I don't even remember.
Dude, that was like 7 seconds ago.
I don't remember.
Man, teenagers.
They constantly go around the bowl.
So then the next one would be, okay, solve using completing the square. And then I'll have some that just say solve. And then that's the what you got to figure out is which way is easiest to solve that. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. Alrighty. So let's see what we got here. Let me look. So we got. Alrighty. So we only have 12 to graph. Let's Is that a challenge? Because I can give you 50. I know a guy. I'll just whip 50 out in a heartbeat, maybe just for you.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Damn, she just threw you right under the bus as well. Friends like that, who needs enemies, huh? Alrighty, so let's
It makes life interesting.
let's do number 5. Okay, this is right off the assignment. I appreciate that being on my side, though, Avery. Good job. Yeah, you get an A for today. Alrighty, so here we go. So now it asked me to find all this stuff. Okay, and I don't know why they listed it this way, but it's going to want end behavior, which we've done. It wants y-intercept, which we've done. It wants vertex, which we've done. It wants domain and range, which we've done. It wants increasing and decreasing, which we've already done. And it wants vertex form, which means that you have no choice but to factor it. You're welcome.
It's like that thing where you have to think.
Well, I'm going to be honest. Isn't that kind of my job as a teacher? I actually think that's what they pay me to do, is to encourage you to think, right? I mean, no, you don't think so, Kim? That is crazy. But I enjoy it.
I hate it.
This is the one
That's probably going to be honest. Why I enjoy it, Dale, is because you hate it. I mean, nobody can feel what I'm talking about here.
I can relate that.
Okay, well, yeah, exactly. Alrighty, so what do I do?
Is this the y is equal to negative b plus or minus?
Let me consult my notes.
No, we go.
You move the c.
I moved the c. So I'm going to go equal 0, and I'm going to go minus 22 minus. Didn't I just teach you how to do this?
I'm going to be looking at my notes.
Okay, well, I don't care. So I've got x squared minus 10x equals negative 22, right? Yeah. Okay, then what?
You make a space, but then
What's going to go in this space right here?
B over 2 squared to both sides. I don't know the answer to that.
Negative 25.
Why?
Because it's in the parentheses.
It's in the parentheses, I'm squaring it, so I'm going to go plus 25 there, I'm going to go plus 25 there, right? Now this is always going to do something for me.
Make it squared.
It's going to make it squared, right? What's that going to be?
X minus.
X minus
5? No. Yes, no, yeah.
Right, because it's that. I drew arrows, I think, didn't I?
yeah.
Didn't I go that variable, that sign, and this is always b divided by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5.
But what happens to that? P5.
Yeah, that's how
Like, what happens to that?
Okay,
P5?
now look, did I already take care of the negative? I didn't, isn't that what I wrote right there?
Yes, you did. The first half is good.
But how do you get the 10 if you were to factor, like, do x minus 5 times x minus 5? How would you get the 10x? Oh, yeah, okay. It adds. There we go. Speedy.
That was satisfying.
It's like when you, yeah.
No?
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Why not?
I don't know, because like you just like lost one on the negative.
No, I didn't.
What happens to the 25?
I took that negative and I separated them and I said that negative goes there. If that was a positive, it would have went there because that would have been a positive 5.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
X plus 25 is equal to.
I mean, I could take this whole thing and divide it by 2 and that goes there. Doesn't matter. Either way. Just trying to simplify it. Okay? If
Never mind.
what?
I just don't get how it ends up working.
It just does.
It all comes out in the wash.
Well, because I'm just taking and I'm going old school. I'm just back in the day. Okay, listen. What you're going to realize is that I used to teach this where we just factored this. We just went 2 parentheses and factored it.
Yes.
But because it always factors the same, I know it's going to end up being x minus 5 times x minus 5, which can be written as x minus 5 squared, which lends itself to vertex 4. So why not simplify that and just teach you a shortcut that always works?
So it's just like the A goes down and then the B is negative.
Yep.
And then would it be squared or would it?
Okay, this is actually making sense.
Okay. Then this is going to be plus 3, right? Correct?
Yes. And then you
Then what do I do?
move it over.
Minus my 3, and I'm going to get y equals x minus 5 squared minus 3. This is now basically where I started last time, right? It is vertex form, which makes it easy for me to go and answer all of these questions. So, where am I going to go?
You're going to go
Right, no, right, 5, down 3.
Right 5 down 3. So 5 comma negative 3. Okay. My intercept is way up here at 22, right? 0 and 22. Its mirror image is going to be over here at what's that? 10 and 22, right? Correct?
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to do that. And that. And this is what? What kind of parabola is this? It's normal, right? I'm normal. Which I would write down. I would get used to writing every time. Now, so, y-intercept. We've got, this is my y-intercept, right? 0 and 22, correct?
Can you just set 22?
Yeah, you can. You can. My vertex, which is 5 and negative 3, I've got that. Domain and range. What's my domain going to be? Negative infinity to infinity, right? Parentheses. My range, though, is not. My range is going to be from
Negative 3.
-3 to infinity. And what has to happen there?
Bracket then.
Bracket the -3, parentheses right there, right? Domain and range. So increasing. When's this sucker increasing? Remember, these are what values? Increasing our x values. So I'm going to increase from, so from negative infinity to 5. So going here, it's actually going down. That'd be my decreasing, would be from negative infinity to 5, right? Then I'm going to increase from 5 to infinity, and these were always both. Who can explain why I have parentheses around those 5s? Pretty much word for word, right? Okay, and then I've got just end behavior, right? End behavior, which was x approaches infinity, x approaches negative infinity. What are my y's here? Infinity and infinity.
Okay, so they're not going to make you find your x-intercepts.
Not on that one, which is probably why it lends itself to this better,
Yeah.
is because we don't have to find that. Yo,
Can we do the y-intercept? He wants to do 0, 22.
I really don't care. If you're going to write 22, I would always write y equals 22. Either way would be fine with me. Okay? I'm an ordered pair guy, but this is okay as well. They're an or, either one. Okay? Any questions?
Actually makes sense.
Okay, now there is one kind of problem we haven't done that I think we probably should try. And we got time. So let's do this. And I would probably pay attention to me because this one does lend itself to be a little bit challenging. So y equals negative 2. I don't need parentheses yet anyway. So let's go negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 5. So let's say I got that. Okay. Now again, I'm just going to do what? Pretend that y is not there and make this equal 0. Then what do I do?
Minus the 5.
Except I'm going to add the 5 and add the 5, and I'm going to get negative 2x squared plus 12x equals 5. Now, what do I have to do here? Because this isn't a 1, what did I do here?
It wouldn't work. You couldn't do it then.
Well, I can. Remember, I just said it was more difficult.
Just bring the factor down.
Except I'm not going to take the 2 out. I'm going to take the negative 2 out. So I'm going to...
It's supposed to be a 12, not a 2.
Guys are so picky. What's this going to give me when I do that?
X squared minus.
Right? Okay, then what's going to go right here?
The B thing.
So that is like honey?
Yes. Negative 3.
Nobody got that joke? He said the B thing, and I said like
Plus 9.
plus 9? Plus 9? Okay, so Stadia, what's going to go over here?
Plus 9.
Minus 18.
Why minus 18, Presley? Because remember, I've got to do that. And then, what?
That's not my name. But that's okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You can call her that.
That yeah, I don't know. That's really weird.
Yeah. Please call her that. Don't be for that.
Not even sure. Oh, I do know where that came from. I used to teach a girl named Presley Patton, and her name had 2 E's too. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so where did you get this negative 18, Murray?
9 times negative.
I got to do that and then do that over there, right? So now I'm going to get negative 2 parentheses what?
X minus 3. Squared equals negative 13.
Then I
Then you add the 13,
Yeah, I'm confused about that too.
and then it's just y equals negative 2. X minus 3 squared.
what she said. Look. Now look.
You did the one thing. You did the one thing with the baby.
What is B? What is negative 6 divided by 2 is?
3.
Negative 3 squared is?
9.
Positive 9, right? But remember, I'm adding this inside parentheses, which means that positive 9 is being times by that negative 2, which really makes it a negative 18. So if I've got negative 18 over here, I've got to have negative 18 over there, right? Which I believe comes out to be negative 13. Yes.
So could you do like 12 instead of the negative 6? Like 12 over 2?
No. It's always just the b.
But if the b was 12 before.
I know, but it's not 12 right now.
Okay. So just
Yep, just that b. Yes, Kai.
negative 3.
Well, because remember I'm squaring it, right? Negative 3 squared is what you pointed out earlier, right?
Negative.
Surge, wasn't you that pointed this out? Because remember, that negative 3 is inside what? So I got negative 3 times negative 3. Well, what's a negative times a negative? This will always be a positive sign, always. Okay? Now I add my 13 over, and I got y equals negative 2, parentheses x minus 3 squared, plus 13. We finally have our first parabola that's doing what? Going down. It's going to go down. It's going to be skinny. Why skinny? Because remember, it's the number, not the sign. The sign is merely direction. Yeah, what he said. Okay? Any questions? And this is just like, 2's like this, 4's like this. You got a couple of these with negatives on them. Even if it's just 1, make sure you take that negative 1 out and make sure you change that sign. Okay? So. And that right there is what you're after. That is vertex form. Okay, let's try it. Get busy.
I'll forget that in a week.
What?
I'm probably going to forget that in a week.
Don't.
What were we supposed to do with 6.13, like for grading it?
It was due like
Sorry, post.
45 minutes ago, right?
Post, not.
So listen, that's actually a great question. So bring your assignment to class. We'll check it, and then you'll be able to take a picture and upload it. So I'll have to put the due time at the end of class or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She won't have it checked before class. Yes.
I won't be able to submit it during class.
Why?
I don't have a camera or phone.
Do what Deadabout does. Just use your Chromebook camera.
How?
You might need to teach some people next time, okay? Yo, Kaya.
If I'm going to be absent at home,
Then you're just crap out of luck. I'll just give you a 0. So what I'm going to do is once I have a key, then I'll upload that key from my other period. You just check it. Okay? I just don't have a key. Okay? You know. And I might just end up just taking somebody's. I will just take some.